There are moments in life when the weight of your struggles feels unbearable. Your chest feels heavy, your eyes fill with tears, and you find yourself whispering prayers you can't even put into words. It's in those quiet, broken moments, when your heart aches and your voice trembles, that your dua carries a special power. The dua you make in tears is never wasted. Every tear that falls is seen. Every word that escapes your lips is heard. And even the prayers you can't find the strength to speak, the ones that stay locked inside your heart, are known. You may feel like nothing is changing, like your prayers are disappearing into the silence. But the reality is, not a single tear is lost. Every one of them is collected with care, valued far more than you can imagine. Those tearful duas are not signs of weakness. They are proof of your deep connection with the one who listens to every broken soul. Sometimes the answer comes quickly. Other times it feels delayed, and in some cases the response doesn't appear in the way you expected. But that does not mean your prayers went unheard. It means they were answered in a way that protects you, heals you, or prepares you for something greater. Your tears are an investment in your future, seeds of mercy and blessings that will bloom when the time is right. Think about it. The moments you cry in dua are often the most sincere times of your life. There is no show, no pretense, no ego, just you, your pain, and your Creator, and sincerity is what gives your prayers a strength far beyond ordinary words. So don't hold back your tears, don't think they are a sign of weakness. When you cry while raising your hands, you are showing your greatest strength, the ability to turn to Allah even when you feel broken. You are proving that your faith is alive, that your heart is still connected, that your hope is still intact. The dua you make in tears may not bring instant change, but it will never be wasted. Those tears will return to you as relief, as strength, as forgiveness, as blessings in ways you could never imagine. One day, you'll look back and realize that the moments you cried in prayer were the turning points that shaped your destiny. So keep making dua, even with tears in your eyes, because every tear is heard. Every prayer is counted, and none of them, not even one, will ever be wasted. There are moments when life feels unbearably heavy, when the weight of pain and disappointment presses so deeply on your chest that you can't hold back your tears. In those moments, you raise your hands, whisper a prayer, and let the tears fall, and perhaps a voice inside you wonders, does anyone really hear this? Do these tearful whispers matter? The truth is, they do. Tearful duas are never ignored. Every tear that falls during your prayer has meaning. They are not signs of weakness, but proof of sincerity. When words cannot capture the depth of your emotions, your tears speak on your behalf. They carry your pain, your longing, and your hope to the one who understands even the cries you cannot put into words. What may feel like a silent plea is actually the loudest voice your heart can give. Tearful duas are special because they are pure. When you cry in prayer, there is no performance, no pride, no concern for how you look or how others might perceive you. It is you at your most vulnerable, standing honestly with all your struggles. That kind of sincerity can never be overlooked. It is in those fragile moments that your heart connects most deeply with your Creator, and that connection has a power beyond what the human mind can comprehend. Sometimes it seems like nothing changes after those tearful nights. You may wake up to the same struggles, face the same trials, and wonder if your cries were in vain. But unseen to you, those duas are already at work. They may be building your patience, protecting you from unseen harm, or opening doors you have not yet reached. Just because you don't see the immediate results doesn't mean the prayer was ignored. It simply means it was received and is being answered in the way that is best for you. Life is full of tests, and often those tests leave you feeling broken. Yet it is in that brokenness that the most powerful prayers are born. Think about it, when everything is easy, dua can become routine, words spoken without much feeling. But when you are crying, when your heart aches so much you can barely breathe, every word carries the weight of your soul. That is why tearful duas are never ignored. They hold a sincerity that ordinary words rarely achieve. Every tear is also a witness to your faith. Crying in prayer means that even in pain, you still turn back to Allah. You could have chosen to run away, to drown in despair, or to give up, but instead you chose to pour your pain into dua. That is a sign of resilience, not weakness. It shows that deep down you still believe in mercy, you still believe in hope, and you still believe in healing, and such faith is always acknowledged, always valued. What you may not realize is that your tears themselves are blessings. They cleanse the heart, soften the soul, and remind you of your need for Allah's guidance. They carry away arrogance and replace it with humility. They wash away despair and replace it with renewed trust. This inner transformation is one of the most powerful outcomes of tearful dua, and it is never ignored. So whenever you find yourself crying in prayer, don't feel embarrassed. Don't think of it as weakness. Instead, recognize it as one of the purest acts of worship you can offer. Each tear is a gem, each whisper a seed planted for a future blessing. Even if no one else in the world sees those moments, they are counted, they are cherished, and they are answered in ways you may only realize much later in life, or even in the eternal life to come. Tearful duas are never ignored because they come from the deepest place of the heart, and every beat of that heart is known, valued, and heard. There are times when words fail you. Your heart feels so heavy that even forming sentences in dua becomes difficult. You sit in silence, your lips barely moving, and inside your soul cries out with feelings you cannot express. To the world, it may look like nothing happened, but those hidden prayers, the ones no one hears, the ones even you struggle to put into words, are fully known. Hidden prayers are not missed simply because they were never spoken out loud. The one you are turning to knows the whisper before it leaves your heart, the thought before it becomes a sentence, the pain before it forms into a tear. You don't need perfect words, a loud voice, or elaborate expressions for your prayer to be heard. What matters is the sincerity of your heart, and sincerity is loud enough, even in silence. It is in the hidden prayers that the rawest emotions live. The silent do you make at night while lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, hoping for relief. The quiet whisper in your heart while walking through a crowd, pretending you're fine but secretly aching inside. The fleeting request that passes through your mind when you see someone else's blessing and think, Ya Allah, grant me that too. These are prayers no one else witnesses, but they are known, they are recorded. They are acknowledged. Sometimes we assume only the grand spoken duas matter, the long supplications, the tearful hands raised to the sky. But in reality, even the quietest prayers, the ones hidden deep in your chest, carry weight. They may not be visible to others, but they are as clear as sunlight to the one who listens. Hidden prayers reveal your vulnerability in a way that no public dua ever could. They are pure because they are free from any desire for recognition. They are made for no audience except Allah, and it is often those hidden prayers that change your life the most. You may not even realize how many times your heart whispered for strength, for safety, for protection, and later you were shielded from harm without knowing why. You may not remember the silent request you made in passing, yet months later you find yourself holding the blessing you once wished for. Hidden prayers don't disappear, they work quietly just as they were made quietly. These prayers also carry another beauty. They build your trust. When you don't say them out loud, you leave no trace for others to see, no possibility of someone else influencing the outcome. It becomes a private conversation between you and Allah alone. That privacy strengthens your reliance on Him because you know that if it comes true, it wasn't coincidence, it wasn't people. It was Him answering your hidden plea. There is also comfort in knowing that even when you are too weak to speak, your heart is still heard. Sometimes the pain is so deep that words seem impossible. You might sit in silence, tears falling, and feel like you've failed to pray. But in reality, that silence is a prayer in itself. Your inability to speak is still communication, because Allah knows the language of the heart better than you know the language of your tongue. Hidden prayers are reminders that faith is not always about what others see. You don't have to prove your devotion in public, nor do you need to showcase your spirituality. What matters most is the private, unseen connection you maintain with your Creator, and in those hidden moments, your bond is often strongest because it's free from distraction and performance. So never underestimate the dua you whisper silently in your chest. Never think it's too small, too quick, or too weak to matter. Hidden prayers are known even when forgotten by you. They are stored, cherished, and answered in ways you may only recognize much later. The world may not hear them, but the one you are praying to does, and that is all that truly matters. Life often tests us with waiting. You ask, you pray, you work hard, and yet the answer you long for does not arrive when you expect it. The silence stretches on, and doubt begins to creep into your heart. You wonder if your prayers have been ignored, if your efforts have been wasted, or if perhaps what you desire will never come at all. But the truth is, delays are not denials. The pause between your prayer and the answer is not rejection. It is preparation. Every delay carries a purpose, even when it feels unbearable. Just as seeds planted in the soil take time to push through the darkness before they bloom, your prayers and efforts take time to manifest into reality. You cannot demand a flower to bloom before its season, nor can you force your blessings to arrive before their appointed time. The waiting period is not empty. It is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you to receive what you asked for in the best possible way. Sometimes the delay is a form of protection. You may think you are ready for what you desire, but unseen challenges could come with it. Challenges you may not yet have the strength to handle. By holding back the blessing for a while, Allah is giving you time to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. What feels like a setback is often a shield against harm you cannot see. Other times, the delay is building your character. Waiting teaches patience, and patience is one of the most powerful qualities you can develop. In the silence, your faith is tested. Will you give up because the answer didn't come quickly, or will you trust the process even when you don't see results? It's in these moments of waiting that your trust deepens, your sincerity strengthens, and your connection with Allah becomes more genuine. The delay becomes the very soil where your faith grows. Delays also remind us that life is not only about instant results. In a world where everything feels rushed, fast food, fast communication, fast solutions, waiting feels uncomfortable. But the most valuable things in life take time. You don't grow into maturity overnight. Relationships don't become deep in a week. Wisdom doesn't form in a moment, and blessings of real worth are no different. They are slow, cooked, carefully prepared, and delivered at the exact time they will benefit you most. It is also possible that the delay is aligning you with something greater than you imagined. You may be asking for one thing, but through waiting, you are being guided to something far better. Sometimes what you want is limited compared to what you truly need. The delay is a divine redirection, ensuring you don't settle for less than what was destined for you. You may only realize later that the wait gave you more than you ever expected. When you look back on your life, you will often find that the things you once begged for, the things you thought were late, actually came at the perfect time. The job that arrived after countless rejections, the relationship that blossomed after heartbreak, the opportunity that opened after months of closed doors, all of them came not when you wanted, but when you were truly ready. In hindsight, the delays will make sense, and you will see that they were never denials, only divine timing at work. So, the next time you feel restless because your prayer hasn't been answered yet, remind yourself that silence is not rejection. Waiting is not abandonment, delays are not denials. Every unanswered moment is filled with purpose. Behind the scenes, things are moving, doors are aligning, and blessings are being prepared. Your role is to trust, to remain patient, and to keep your hope alive. Because when the right time comes, what is meant for you will arrive with a beauty that makes every second of waiting worth it. There are many ways a person can pray. Some prayers are spoken casually, almost like a routine, where the words roll off the tongue without much thought. Others are said with attention, carefully chosen, deeply felt. But among all forms of prayer, the one that carries the greatest weight is the dua made with tears. Tearful dua is the most sincere dua because it comes from the depths of the heart, free from pretense, pride, or distraction. When you cry while praying, you are at your most vulnerable. The tears are not something you plan. They flow naturally from the pain, hope, or longing you carry inside. That raw honesty cannot be faked. It is a sign that your heart is fully engaged in the moment, that your soul is reaching out with all its strength. Sincerity means speaking to Allah with no masks, no filters, no concern for how others see you. And this is exactly what happens when tears fall during your dua. Think about the times when tears come. They often appear at night, when no one else is watching, when the world is silent and you are left with your thoughts. It is in those quiet moments, when you cry out for forgiveness, relief, or guidance, that your prayers hold a power unlike any other. A tear shed in dua is worth more than 1,000 empty words, because it comes from a place of deep truth. Tearful dua is also sincere because it reflects humility. When you cry in front of Allah, you are admitting that you cannot handle everything alone. You are acknowledging your weakness, your dependence, and your desperate need for His mercy. This humility is the very essence of worship. It strips away arrogance and brings you closer to your Creator. Instead of pretending you are strong, you allow yourself to be broken in front of Him, and in doing so, you find real strength. Another reason tearful dua is the most sincere is because it comes without an audience. Tears in prayer are rarely shed for show. Most often, they happen in solitude, in private moments that no one else witnesses. That privacy makes them pure, free from any desire for recognition or praise. You are not crying to impress others. You are crying because your heart cannot hold the weight anymore. This purity is what gives those prayers their unique value. It's also important to realize that tearful dua is not only about sadness. Tears can come from joy, gratitude, or awe as well. Sometimes you may find yourself overwhelmed by the blessings you've received, and your eyes fill with tears as you thank Allah. Those tears too are sincere because they express emotions that words cannot capture. Whether born from pain or gratitude, tears in dua are always a sign of the heart's sincerity. Many people fear that crying in prayer makes them weak, but in reality, it is a sign of inner strength. To let yourself cry is to admit that you feel deeply, that you care deeply, and that you trust enough to be vulnerable. Crying in dua shows that your faith is alive, that despite your struggles, you still turn to Allah as your refuge. This act of turning with tears and humility is among the most powerful forms of sincerity a believer can show. There is also comfort in knowing that even if your words fail, your tears themselves are seen as a form of dua. They are not wasted. Every drop carries meaning. Every tear is noticed. Sometimes you may sit in silence with nothing but tears flowing, and you may think you haven't prayed at all. But those tears are prayers in themselves, carrying your unspoken emotions directly to the one who understands even the cries you never say aloud. Tearful dua is the most sincere dua because it strips everything down to what truly matters, a heart reaching out to its Creator. It is not polished, not rehearsed, not concerned with formality. It is raw, honest, and real, and in those moments you experience the closest connection a human can feel. Standing before Allah with nothing but your brokenness, and trusting that He accepts you exactly as you are. Tears are often seen as a symbol of weakness, but in reality they hold a strength and value that many overlook. In the moments of deepest pain, when your heart feels heavy and your eyes overflow, those tears are not wasted. They are collected, cherished, and transformed in ways you may not immediately see. Tears become blessings, blessings of healing, blessings of strength, and blessings of connection with Allah. When you cry in dua, your tears are a language beyond words. They express what your tongue cannot say. Sometimes the heart carries emotions so deep that they cannot be spoken aloud, and in those moments tears take their place. Every tear that falls is a message of sincerity, a symbol of your vulnerability, and an offering of humility. Far from being meaningless drops, they are acts of worship that carry weight in the unseen world. One of the ways tears become blessings is through purification. Tears wash away the heaviness locked inside your chest. They release the grief, anger, or sorrow that you carry silently. Each tear shed in prayer softens the heart and removes the barriers of pride and arrogance that can build up inside you. This inner cleansing is itself a blessing because it brings you back to humility, the very state in which your connection with Allah is strongest. Tears also become blessings by strengthening your relationship with your Creator. When you cry before Him, you are opening yourself completely. No masks, no pretense, no performance. That raw honesty is a form of sincerity that is more valuable than countless words spoken without meaning. Crying in dua is proof that you trust Him with your deepest pain. That trust strengthens your faith and draws you closer in a bond that cannot be broken. Another way tears turn into blessings is by planting seeds of mercy for the future. You may not see immediate changes after a night of tearful prayer, but those tears are never ignored. They are stored as acts of worship, and they return to you in the form of protection, forgiveness, guidance, or unexpected relief. Perhaps the struggle you are facing becomes easier without you realizing why. Perhaps an opportunity appears when you least expect it. These are blessings that often grow silently out of the tears you once shed. Even in the present, tears carry healing. There is a unique comfort that comes after a sincere cry in prayer. Your situation may not have changed, but your heart feels lighter. The burden doesn't seem as impossible as before. That peace, that release is a blessing in itself. Tears remind you that you do not carry your pain alone, that you have a place to turn where your cries are always heard. This realization alone can renew hope and give you the strength to keep moving forward. Tears also connect you with your humanity. They remind you of your limitations, of your need for mercy, and of your dependence on something greater than yourself. In a world that often pushes us to be strong, independent, and unshakable, tears bring you back to the truth. Real strength lies in admitting your weakness before Allah. This humility is a blessing because it opens doors to forgiveness, compassion, and divine help. And tears are not only shed for sorrow, they can flow from gratitude too. Sometimes the blessings in your life overwhelm you to the point where words are not enough, and tears stream down your face in thankfulness. Those tears too are precious. They are a testimony of a heart that recognizes its blessings and humbles itself in gratitude. Gratitude tears are among the most beautiful because they acknowledge the mercy you've already received and invite more mercy to flow into your life. So never think of your tears as wasted or shameful. They are not signs of weakness but signs of a heart alive, a faith strong enough to seek help, and a soul that refuses to give up. Each tear you shed in sincerity has value. They may fall silently on your cheeks, but in the unseen they rise as prayers. And in time, those tears return to you as blessings far greater than you can imagine. There are moments in life when everything feels overwhelming, moments when pain takes over, when loss feels unbearable, when the future seems uncertain. In those moments, tears often become your only companion. You cry in silence, sometimes in the stillness of the night, sometimes in the middle of a busy day where no one notices. These tearful moments may feel like weakness, but in reality, they carry a strength you cannot yet see. Tearful moments shape destiny because they are the times when your heart is most alive, your prayers most sincere, and your connection with Allah the strongest. When you are brought to tears, it means you have reached a point of raw honesty. You are no longer pretending to be in control, no longer hiding behind masks of pride. Instead, you are standing in front of your Creator exactly as you are, broken, vulnerable, and in need. It is in this state that the most powerful prayers are born. The du'as you make with tears flowing are not ordinary requests. They are pleas that rise from the depths of your soul, and those pleas have the power to shape the direction of your life. Destiny is not only written in grand moments of success or failure. It is shaped in the quiet struggles, in the nights of sleepless tears, in the whispered prayers that no one else hears. Each tear is like a seed planted in the soil of faith. Over time, those seeds grow into changes, new strength, unexpected blessings, relief from pain, or opportunities you never saw coming. What feels like a moment of despair is often the very beginning of a new chapter written for you. Tearful moments also shape destiny by building your character. Struggles soften the heart and make it more compassionate. A person who has cried knows what it means to hurt, and that pain often becomes a source of kindness toward others. The patience you develop during your tearful moments becomes part of your destiny, preparing you to handle greater responsibilities and bigger blessings later in life. Your tears are not wasted. They are shaping the kind of person you are meant to become. There is also wisdom in the timing of tearful moments. Often they come at points in life when you are forced to stop, reflect, and realign. Pain has a way of pausing the noise of the world, pulling you back to what truly matters. Those pauses redirect your path, steering you away from what may harm you and guiding you toward what is better. In this way, your tears are not just emotional releases, they are turning points, gently reshaping your journey in ways you only recognize later. And while it may feel that crying is a private act, unseen and unnoticed, those tears are recorded. They rise as testimony of your sincerity. They are noticed even when the world ignores you. That acknowledgement itself becomes part of your destiny. It means that no tear shed in prayer is ever lost. It becomes part of the divine plan, part of the reason blessings find their way to you, even when you thought they never would. Sometimes the tears you shed are what save you from a greater downfall. They keep you connected when you might otherwise drift. They remind you that you are not as strong as you think on your own, and that reminder keeps your heart attached to the source of all strength. In this way, your tears become anchors, ensuring that your destiny remains tied to faith rather than despair. Looking back, many people realize that the darkest, tear-filled chapters of their lives were the very moments that shaped them the most. Without those tears, they would not have grown, they would not have found resilience, and they would not have discovered the deeper meaning of trust. Tearful moments may feel unbearable when you are inside them, but when the story unfolds, they often stand out as the points where everything changed for the better. Tearful moments shape destiny because they are not empty. They are filled with sincerity, humility, and faith. They carve strength into your soul, they soften your heart, and they draw you closer to Allah in ways that joy never could. Though the world may see only weakness in tears, in reality, they are the moments when your life is quietly being transformed, when your path is being redirected, and when your destiny is being rewritten with mercy and wisdom.